What's up, YouTube? This your boy Akeem Davis here from KNG, bringing you a deck profile of my Thunder Dragons that I piloted to a first place victory at the St. Louis Regionals on Sunday with a record of XO1, 9 rounds. But yeah, let's get to this deck, man. There's the family. They helped me through all 3 kids. 2 BLS. Man, this card is insane, y'all. I don't know why Konami has it. I was playing 3. I just dropped it for another card. Every time I summon this card, I won the game. But he's normally in there for... I actually push with him a lot, but he's in there for a combo that I'll showcase later. But, yeah. 1 duo. This was the 3rd BLS. I just decided to play this because it's searchable via the Fusion and Dart. His attack effect is pretty good. You can add a Thunder Monster, which will help you combo off in main phase 2. His recurring effect is pretty good as well at the end of your opponent's turn or whatever. You can add a card to your hand basically by putting it on top of the deck or whatever. Or put a Thunder Dragon Fusion back in the deck or a Matrix or whatever you need to combo off and whatnot. The Thunder Dragons played 3 of each. Pretty much have to. The only one I didn't play 3 of was Matrix. I just didn't want to see multiples. It doesn't really do much in most matchups. It shines the most in a mirror match because you use it to out the Titan. Your opponent's Titan, just attack over it. You activate it, they'll chain the effect to pop your Titan. You just banish 2 cards because it doesn't really matter. You just attack over their Titan if they don't have egg. Outside of that, it doesn't really do much. You just set it up in your hand with Dart to trigger Titan's effect. So normally you just activate this effect to add this. And then after that is just you just send this back to the deck so you can keep recycling back and forth, back and forth. You don't really need 3. I never really needed 3. 2 Battery Man Solar. I was playing 3, but you don't really need 3. It's basically Brilliant Fusion. You see this in Gold Sark or this in Hawk. You just go off and just pretty much game. Your opponent ashes this because they're scared of your plussing, and then you just play your other extenders. So it's basically an extender to me. It's an extender and a starter. This is one thing about this deck. It has extenders, and all your extenders are actually starters as well. So it's pretty good. 2 Ambers. I see a lot of people play 1. I just couldn't get into the whole drawing this and a Brilliant Fusion ordeal. It'll just piss me off because the other 3 cards are like Instant Fusion and Dark. And it's like, yeah, you can play, but you can't really play because like your whole turn is just dead because you got 2 dead cards. It's all right opening 2. One of the 2, if you're playing 2, is okay opening 1 because their effects are just pretty good. I mean, you're never going to activate this effect, but it's decent. This gets around the zombie world because like you can still trigger your Thunder Dragon effects, and then you just set this, and then you can fusion summon to Colossus. So it gets around the zombie world, and also against my round 8 opponent, he summoned Inspector Border Army, and I had 1 in hand with a Brilliant Fusion. Let's activate Brilliant Fusion, summon Prismara, then activate Prismara effect, discarded this to pop the Inspector Border, and then I just went off from there. So I like playing 2. 2 Ash, well-rounded hand trap. You have to play at this format. You literally have to. I just didn't want to play too much. I think my ratios of hand traps is 6. I just decided just to play 2 of these. I didn't really want to open up multiples. 1 is cool. If I see 2, that's all right. But the rest of my hand is like insane anyway. So yeah, you're gonna get negated twice in a row. 2 Bells was the last 2 hand traps. This card actually, I was playing Ogre and testing. Ogre is pretty good. I understand. A lot of people were having a debate about it a few days ago. I was having somewhat issues with Ogre against like meta decks like Thunder Dragons and so whatnot. I'll Ogre a combo deck and they just still go off. Like this, I guess it falls in the same boat, but this is really good against Thunder Dragons. And in the regionals, I resolve this card more than I resolve Ash. And in almost every matchup, this card hits something and it was really detrimental to the game. Like, oh damn, I can't do anything now, and they just had to scoop. This card was just really good for me this weekend. It was, in my opinion, is better than Orker, but in certain matchups. Last monster is the MVP, and that's Denko. I was gonna take this card out, to be honest with you, but I just felt like there's gonna be a lot of Sky Strikers and Alter guys still. Might be a few Paleo because of that new Trap Trick card, which is busted, is insane. So I decided just to keep it in, and it actually won me 4 games. So this card is just insane. Shout out to Jonathan Fields for signing it. That's it for the monsters, 26 monsters. Off to the spells. My favorite engine in the game, Brilliant Fusion. This card is just too free not to play. I try to play this in every single deck because it's just too free, man. Free monsters, whatnot. It's just insane. You see that with Roar and you just combo. Along with this card, 3 instant fusions. You see this with Roar, you're just comboing off. Shout out to Ethan for allowing me to use the ultis. But yeah, this card is just good. Also, the card shine the most in the mirror match. Because Titan is the card that to beat in the mirror match is not really Colossus. So you activate this, you summon Thousand Eyes, you can bait out a monster effect in hand, or you just take the Titan with the Thousand Eyes restrict and just go off from there. 3 gold targs, not much to say there, self-explanatory. You have to play 3. You see this in Battery Solar, you win. 2 Thunder Dragon fusions. I can't play 3. It just bricks too much if you play 3. I really only resolve 1. And this just stays in rotation every single game. This just stays in the deck as an extra if I need it. I have banished this and then searched the deck for this, but I was pushing for game at that point. Normally, after turn 1, Roar is not really that great. So, like, when you're activating its effect to search a Thunder monster, you're searching for Batteryman Solar or Hawk, one of the two, to extend combos to push further for game. So you're not really going too far off. So you can just use Roar's effect to add this back and then activate a fusion. Or you can duo this back to the top of the deck and activate it. You never really need 3. The last spell is Monster Reborn. It's basically just a 4th Hawk. But it also can reborn like, Warlord or BLS. I reborn BLS one time for a game. It was pretty insane. That's it for the spells. That's 12 spells. And the last 2 cards are impermanence. I just wanted cards to get around midfield breaker, and this was just really good. Also setting this with Colossus, Titan, Colossus, or Colossus, Titan, and another card in extra deck that I'm going to show you. It's just really strong. That's it for the main deck. It's 40 cards. Off to the extra deck. Fam. Favorite card in the game. Signed by number 60, Chiefs player. Shout out to the Chiefs. Fusions. 1,000 Eyes Restrict. And 1 Kaminari attack. These are my instant fusion targets. I summoned both of them same equal amount of times, twice, the whole tournament. Didn't really see instant fusion that much. And when I did see it, I didn't really need to have to activate it. I had the game already. This shines the most, though, in the mirror match to out the Titan. But you can use it for other stuff. 1 Prismara. I summon this every single round. I resolved the effect once, like I stated earlier. This card is just really good. Boss monsters. 3 Colossus, 2 Titan. This is the better one. Trust me, guys. This card is stupid. I was playing 3, but I took it out for another card in the extra that I'm about to show you. I really only needed it once, the 3rd. I only needed it once. Because for some odd reason, I had to do awkward play, and I required the 3rd. But outside of that, I kept 1 in the extra deck and 1 in the graveyard, and I just kept recycling them back with the fusion. I just shuffle 1 back in. Some people think it's bad, but it's like, man, I never really want to shuffle stuff in the graveyard. I want to keep Dark. I want to keep Roar. Mainly Roar. I want to keep Roar in the graveyard so I can banish it, bring another monster out. So I want to keep those monsters in the graveyard. So I just shuffle this back because it's just free. Also, this card outs Medion, so please don't side it. That's it for the fusions. Link monsters, Link Kribo, summoned it once. Didn't really need summon anymore. I think this is the most summon card in my extra deck besides the Colossus and the Titan. Sometimes I'll leave this on the board just to resolve the effect. So I'll leave Titan and Colossus and then just leave that, or Colossus and leave this, and just resolve the effects next turn by putting another monster, like putting Ray on the board or something. I'm not Ray. I'm thinking Sky Strikers. Putting Roar on the board so I can trigger his effect, especially summon one from the deck, and just make sure my next turn is pretty good. On the end phase, it's really good to resolve the effect too. This card is insane. Triple S. Unicorn. I mainly put this in because of the Thunder Dragon matchup to help me push through the Titan and the Colossus. Mainly the Colossus because the Colossus is it's difficult to deal. Not too difficult. It's just not being destroyed by battle is pretty iffy. So this helps clear them. And then Warlord will take care of the rest. So these two were mainly for the mirror match. I think I summoned this once and I didn't summon this at all. So, but they were there just to be there. Last Link monster was sold because I played cherries. And the second MVP of the weekend was Hope Harbinger Dragon. This card is insane. Normally you end your turn with this, there, Titan here, and then Colossus up here. And there's like not much your opponent can do with that board. Especially if you have cards to trigger this in your hand, and then like the additional hand traps that you have. Normally the cards that they will use to out this will eat it up. Remember, like this, all the spells, like this will just eat it up. And then like the Sky Striker matchup, Hayate will try to attack directly, just activate effect to target it to this, and they'll just lose the Hayate. Then they have to bring out the Ray and whatnot and stuff like that. I mean, not really too much great, but it all boils down. But it's really hard to deal with this board. I summoned it 4 times, and every time I summoned it, I won. I would have summoned it more times, but every time my opponent saw me put that massive amount of monsters on the board, they just scooped immediately. So that's it for the extra deck. Side deck, Raise Bay. 3 cherries and 2 XYZ Encores. Ideally this was for the I sold / Rongo Bongo decks. I didn't get to play neither one of them, so I couldn't tell you if this worked out or not. I just didn't want to get caught sleeping without it. 3 Twin Twisters and the second Denko. I contemplated about evenly matched. I just felt like I felt safe using these. I know this is somewhat a letdown if they activate Secret Village, because you won't be able to activate this. But I just took the chance because my monsters are big anyway, and it's hard for them to get around it without their back row. And plus the Denko. I thought about playing 2 Denkos and 2 Twin Twisters, but I just went with this ratio because just other decks as well, and it worked out fine. Obviously, because this won me so many games. 2 Silent Graveyards. Ideally, I felt like I was going to run into some Cosmos. And this card is really good against Cosmos. You just flip it, and then you can destroy all their ships, and they don't do anything. Unfortunately, I didn't play against any, but it's actually good against the zombie deck. I sided it in, but I didn't get to see it. But in theory, this card is really good. It's also good against Prank Kids. I might be playing 3 of this in the future, but this card is pretty good. 3 Mind Controls for the mirror match. You just don't want to get caught slipping. Going second against Thunder Dragons. There's summon 2 Titans against you, and it's like GG after that. So I just want to use the Mind Control to take control of it. You can also take the Colossus and then make your Titan. And then if they will trigger, then you can play your combo pieces. And then if they try to trigger something to destroy you, just change your Titan to hit it. I also sided in against decks that will put problematic cards on the board. Like, for example, Altergeist, they summon Inspector Border. You just take them Border. And that's just one way to deal with it. You can tribute it off or whatever. Also sided in against the ABC player that triggered the Buster Dragon. Unfortunately, he didn't summon Buster Dragon games 2 and 3, so I didn't have to worry about that. And then the last card was a last minute choice, and that was Imperial Order. I just felt like this card was just too powerful not to play. And setting this behind two Colossuses and a Titan, or a Colossus Titan Hope, is just pretty strong. Outside it in going first and second against strikers, because it's a grind game anyway. So, you'll set up, and then they'll set up, try to break your cards, and you just flip this, and it's just game. I only sided in one time, though, against Cyber Dragons, game 2. He didn't play a single card because of it. I guess his whole hand was spells. And I ended up winning with 1,400 life points left because I top deck Hog. So, it's pretty good. I'm glad I actually played it. It helped out. That's it for the deck. My matchups. I think round 1 I played against Prank Kids. That was a 2-0. He didn't really know how to play the deck. Round 2 was Domain Monarchs. Thought it would be tough, but my hands was just really good. Round 3 was Infernoids. I actually drew with him. Game 1, he opened Void Feast and 2 Storming Mirror Forces. I couldn't do anything. And game 2, I beat him by 100. He was trying to make a final push, but time was called, so he couldn't do anything after that. Round 4, I played against Cyber Dragons. I told you the outcome with that. Game 2, I just Imperial Ordered him, and he just died. Round 5, I played against Trick Stars. We ended up going to game 3, which I Denko'd him for game. Denko plus Brilliant Fusion, then BLS. Round 6 was ABCs. Game 3, I Denko'd him, then summoned BLS, and that was game. Round 7 was against Zombies. That was a weird match, but I ended up winning in game 3. Round 8 was against my boy Alfie. Shout out to you. Sorry, man, for the game 3 Denko. Denko Brilliant Fusion Twin Twister. And then round 9 was against my little brother Devin. Summoned Hope, Colossus, Titan with Ash and Dark in hand. He was playing strikers. He couldn't do anything to that. And then game 2, Denko BLS. So, shout outs. I want to first and foremost thank God for allowing me to be alive to play the game. Shout out to my family for allowing me to get the quiet time for testing and whatnot. I got an awesome family, guys. Shout out to my team, sponsors, K&G and T-Mode Guy. Really good sponsors. Check them out if y'all got a chance. Shout out to all my test partners. Been just grinding real hard lately. Shout out to Asian Persuasion. Make sure y'all check his channel and subscribe. Shout out to Lithium. Check his channel out. I usually use it a lot to check out the OCG stuff, so it's pretty cool. Shout out to Team X Samurai. He's awesome, man. Just check these guys out, man. They got some really good content. Slim Yu-Gi-Oh! Check him out. These guys are awesome. Shout out to House of Champs for the market watch. I want to shout my boy James Sled out, even though he wasn't there. He was there in heart. Awesome dude. Next time, get work off, you bum juice. Shout out to Alan and Devin for topping. They work really hard. KC fam, shout out to Collectors Cash and Game Cafe, Action Sports and Guerrilla Games. All the game stores in KC that we go and play and test. Really good stores. Some awesome people. Sometimes, but they're good. And shout out to Brothers of Wakanda. Y'all all know who you guys are. Shout out to you guys. And yeah, man, I'll see everybody at Vegas. This is Armageddon signing out. Peace, my brother.